Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. I'm Gary and today I'm going to be talking about drama or scandals. It's not even scandals. Well, I guess it can be scandals if you want to call it that. But as you know, this Shane Dawson and Jeffree Star series has hit the interwebs, the first two parts of the series, and I kind of wanted to do a sit down and talk sort of older gay man's perspective of kind of what we've seen so far and some of my opinions about things. So be sure you're following me on all my social media and subscribe to this channel if you like this type of content. I do makeup looks, I talk about makeup drama, I do a little bit of everything. I'd love to have you. Feel free to subscribe, like this video, leave me a comment on Twitter. I love talking to you guys. If you have any opinions about any of this, or leave a comment below. I'd love to hear what your opinions are about this stuff. As you know, Shane Dawson has released The Beautiful World of Jeffree Star. So far, we have two parts to the series that has now aired on the YouTube platform, and everyone is talking about it. It's gotten millions of views. It's quite interesting. There was a lot of speculation as to where the series was going to go, as far as is it going to be about Shane creating his own palette with the Jeffree Star Cosmetics team, or is it going to delve into the drama, or is it going to be more about Shane's life, or is it going to be a little bit about everything? We didn't know until it started. But the first part of the series was basically Shane getting set up and prepped. He had to meet Jeffree Star for a Morphe opening, his kind of first real shot at seeing how this works as far as being in the makeup industry, being an influencer, someone that has millions and millions of following, and seeing what they have to go through as far as opening a store and what that entails, and just the magnitude of what can happen when you are very successful at what you do. I will say, sometimes you think, is Shane that daft? Does he not understand? He's got millions of subscribers. Does he not realize how many people watch him? But I kind of think that's true. I don't think he's daft by all means, but I think it's true that maybe he doesn't realize the effect that he has on the amount of people that he has. You can look at numbers all day long, but to see them in real life is different. So let's say you have a video that has millions and millions of views, like the Shane Dawson series. It looks good on paper, and he may be making bank off this, hopefully. Hopefully he's making money. But you think about that, and you're like, that's awesome, that's amazing, and you talk to people on Twitter, but it's still all virtual. It's all just online for you to see. And sometimes that doesn't seem feasible in the real world until you start seeing people show up. You know, if you're in a meet and greet or you open a Morphe store or anything like that, sometimes you don't realize how far of reach that you have until you see it in person and in real life. So I feel like that his reaction to some of this is very true. And if you're someone, I'm kind of like this too. I don't like big crowds. I can handle it. I can tolerate it. But that would be overwhelming, seeing that many people out just to see you for just the stuff you're putting out on YouTube, you know. And Jeffree's got makeup out and he's very successful. I mean, he's had music. He's been around for a long time in this online realm. So he's kind of gotten used to that. So I can kind of understand Shane's trepidation about getting on a plane. And as you get older, I've seen several people talk about how, you know, he's talked about how it makes him nervous to fly. And I'm one of these people. I've never flown, and it makes me nervous to even ride roller coasters. I won't even ride roller coasters. And I've realized that my fear stems from not having control of something. So the fear of flying, for instance, I would feel like I don't have control of what's happening. Whereas I can drive someplace and I feel like I have a little more control. So I kind of understand where he's coming from on that. That would be very nerve-wracking to me. And then as you get older, and as I've gotten older, I seem to have experienced that more. I would like to get out of my shell and do more and feel like I'm progressing, but you can kind of get that way. And I can kind of see why for him this was kind of a big issue. So I feel like that was very true. I feel like nothing Shane really says is meant to be, shady. And I don't feel like he's trying to come across as, oh, I just didn't know. And then he really did. I don't think that's true. I feel like he really does have this sense of really not knowing his reach on things. And I feel like that's interesting to watch from an outside perspective. I think that what him and Jeffree have is very authentic. I feel like their relationship is very true. And you can kind of see, as you know, throughout the year, so much stuff has happened. And there was the Dramageddon Part 2, and all the stuff has happened. And you see this from the perspective of the starts at the beginning of the year. So there's comments made and stuff going on that's not happening now, but you see their mind, where they are in their mind, their headspace as far as these people and what they're doing at that point. So it's kind of interesting to see that. But so far we've been just kind of focused on, Jeffree and Shane and kind of what's happening as far as the makeup community. So that was kind of the first episode, was just him, getting back in touch with Jeffree and going to the Morphe opening. And I think it was really interesting kind of seeing where Shane's headspace was in that respect. Episode 2 had more to do with him getting started on collaborating with Jeffree Star Cosmetics and having a meeting with Jeffree. And they've talked about a lot of numbers and figures and things like that. I found it very interesting to see, and kind of the inside of kind of the price point on things. They've mentioned that, cosmetics may cost just a few dollars to make, and then you have the upsell, which could be up to 700% on certain products. It did show that Jeffree made roughly, on his blood sugar palette, he roughly made $20 million, around about that. Now, I'm curious to see. I mean, they said that was after everything was said and done. I was curious to see about how much does he put back into his company, because then you still have to go forth and create new products and things like that. But it was a big number for one palette. And knowing that he said that it cost roughly about $20 to $25 to make one of those palettes, I can kind of see that. I think that price may be a little high, but it is customized components for his palettes. It's not something that everybody uses, so I can kind of understand why that price is a little higher. A lot of people were shocked about the markup of makeup. I previously I've worked retail most of my life, so I see the markup in general, even from a store's perspective, how much profit we make off of products in the store. That includes makeup and things like that. I also worked with cell phones, and I will tell you right now, if you think makeup's crazy, cell phone accessories are just as crazy. Previously working for a company, we were told to upsell accessories for cell phones. The cell phones themselves, they didn't make a lot of profit off of, but the accessories is where the money is, because let's say a cell phone charger, a name branded charger, let's say Motorola. Those range 45 to 50 bucks a piece, right? Those only cost maybe $2 to make. So, $2 to $3 to make. So you make quite a bit of money. So as far as the retail aspect, that didn't really shock me. I am pretty shocked by the fact that, why didn't I come up with my idea to make palettes like this? That's my thing. Like, I want to be making that kind of money, and maybe I will one day. Who knows? But, there's a lot of shock and awe of that. But Shane was really taken back by that. And they talked about merch and how much money you can make off merchandise, especially for someone who has millions and millions of subscribers. They talked about how, what some of Killer Merch, which is part of Jeffree's brand, how they give money back to the people, what the percentages are. Shane realized he wasn't making good profit on the shirts and things that he was selling currently, because he wasn't, I don't know. he wasn't with the right company. Let's just say that. So that's kind of disheartening. You see him break down a little bit about, he didn't realize his worth and things like that. And then this stems into the next topic. The Nikkie Tutorials / Too Faced drama that everybody is talking about. Now, he brought up again about how Too Faced had a contract with Nikkie Tutorials. Nikkie Tutorials was paid $50,000 for the Power of Makeup palette that came out. He claims that Too Faced roughly made about $10 million on this, but Nikkie was only paid about $50,000. Everybody's at shock on this. This came out, this was 3 years ago. So I remember when all this was going on and the big drama about it. So I kind of knew about it. My feeling on that is she absolutely should have been paid more. But 3 years ago, where was she at standing wise? And from a point of a brand and a major collab with a prestige makeup company, how much of a gamble was it to create a palette with somebody like that? Had it been done on that sort of scale before? The other issue that I have is, like I said, I totally agree she should have got paid more. But part of the problem lies on Nikkie's part. And I love Nikkie Tutorials. I followed her forever. I saw this whole thing happen. I know all about it from the past, and of course it's brought up again. But at the time, it's the same thing Shane was going through. She didn't know her worth. She didn't realize that maybe I should reconsider this. That's why it's very important to kind of have lawyers and things like that involved as well. That's not to say to oversell yourself either. If you're a YouTuber that doesn't have millions and millions and millions, I think it's a little ridiculous to ask for a crazy sum of money. But if you're a known influencer who sells, then yeah, you probably should be asking for a certain amount of money, especially if this company is well known and already makes pretty good money on their products. So I don't know. It is partially Nikkie's fault, but companies also need to understand that instead of paying for commercials and newspaper prints and magazines and things like that, how they used to do it and how much they used to put out for the marketing for that, they need to understand that there's a compensation that also has to take place for influencers. It's also about knowing your brand and how much you're worth. So I think that was a good learning experience. Too Faced has also been bought out by Estee Lauder, I believe. So that's kind of a change in situation there. People are talking about canceling Too Faced. That was 3 years ago. But are they going to hurt from this? I'm sure they're going to get some backlash from this. But, who knows? Have they changed since then? Jared Blandino is still part of that company. And people still like their products. So who knows? Will I buy anything from Too Faced? I don't know. I have one or two things from them. But they generally don't appeal to me that much. Most of their stuff. So I haven't bought a lot from them, but it's just something to think about. We just want to blame this company for something that happened 3 years ago. And sometimes you have to go through things like this to learn from that. It's just kind of like Shane. Shane probably would have been in the same situation had he not had this conversation with Jeffree. And, Shane has a huge following. And let's say he didn't ever meet Jeffree, but he had this experience with somebody else that maybe didn't have as much, influence as much as Jeffree does. He may not have got a good deal on what he's doing now as Jeffree is giving him. So it's interesting to kind of see that back and forth with them and how things can change drastically. But I love Nikkie, and I know she probably has learned a lot from that. And I know at the time it was a big, huge thing. That was part of their falling out, is because it was a contract, and she told him kind of in private, and Jeffree spoke out, but somebody needed to, and I don't know. It's all said and done. It's water under the bridge. It's brought up again. We'll see how that plays out. yeah, so that's kind of what this was all about. And then of course it shows him getting his shade names all picked out, and that was really cute to see, to kind of see how that process, it was very quick. You know, for me, you would think it would take a little bit to come up with that, but it was all kind of done in one day where they sat down and talk about all this stuff. And you also see that he did some lipstick shade names and things like that. Now, the money wise, they only talked about the palette. It'd be interesting to see about the lipsticks because those are more, you know, kind of regular components. So I'd be interested to see kind of the markup on those because, as you know, like Wet and Wild even has their components are very similar to what a Jeffree Star is. It's different, yes, but I mean it's still kind of the same sort of thing. So I'm charging, you know, $18 for lipstick. I'm sure that lipstick maybe cost $1, if that. So they can make quite a bit of money off lipsticks too. Interesting to see, nonetheless. But business stuff like that, especially if it's products that you're interested in, I've always been fascinated with. You know, I'm fascinated with technology. I'm fascinated with makeup. I'm fascinated with all that stuff. So it's kind of interesting to kind of see that. I am fascinated to see where this is going to go, because I think the next one showed there's some drama. I don't know that it goes all the way to Dramageddon, but it just talks about the drama in the community. So I'm interested to kind of see what they have to say about that, because Jeffree's been a big part of this. There's been also some talk about how Rich Lux has seemed to be prominently featured in both of these. And there's been people who said they feel like they need to expand on the drama community as well. I kind of agree. I mean, there's more drama community than just Rich Lux. He is probably one of the more well-known ones. You know, there's Nick Snider, there's T by Ali, there's T Spell, there's a bunch of other channels too. But I don't know. I guess you have to have kind of a mascot for the drama channels. So, and Dustin Dailey also, you know, he brought up that point too, that, you know, Rich isn't the only person in the drama community. So it's kind of interesting to see their take on that. But I do think that Rich is probably the most visible, and that's the one that people talk about the most. So I understand why Rich is probably featured more than anything, and he's hung out with Jeffree a few times. So that's also interesting too. You have these channels that, you know, report the news, so to say. And there are people who say drama channels shouldn't exist, but let me tell you something. I grew up watching Entertainment Tonight. You know, they always had, oh, so-and-so wore this on the red carpet, and so-and-so did this, and so-and-so did this. There's always been channels that report on pop culture and entertainment. There always has been. This is no different. It's just we switched to a different medium. So we have YouTube now, which is user created, and we have these brands of makeup. Of course, you're going to have channels that report on the gossip and the drama, and who said this, and who did this, and who's crying over this, or who's shedding one tear over this. You know, you're always going to have that. And I don't think the drama channels, most of them, a lot of them just report. They are opinionated. They give their own opinions. But you're always going to have that. Those drama channels are never going to go away. So that's just, it is what it is. Even me doing commentary about this, I just like to talk about this stuff, and sometimes I don't have anybody to talk to. So I just want to talk to you guys because I know you guys have opinions about it too. Some other stuff that was brought up, there was some catty moments about, you know, some of the James Charles stuff about, you know, talking about maybe Cameron Dallas and this and that. Just kind of mentioned if that was who it was. It never was 100% confirmed. And then they also threw a little shade about the tears with Laura Lee and a cat that had a tear in his eye, et cetera, et cetera. But we'll see. I think that's where this was heading towards the next installment. I'm not sure when it comes out. They didn't really say. I'm sure it'll be out next week. But that's kind of what's going on with it. I like the series so far. I kind of like how it's went. I feel like I wasn't sure if he was going to edit out a lot of stuff, kind of keep it very minimal, but I feel like we're really getting, you know, behind the scenes. Jeffree has little snarky comments. which most people have snarky comments, and they let us in on the business side of it, which is great. A lot of times people don't want to talk about the business side of it, especially when it comes to numbers and figures and what people charge for stuff, and we're really getting an in-depth look at this stuff, and it's mainly from Shane's perspective, and that's what I'm really liking about this series, is that we're kind of getting it from his perspective, and him doing a collaboration with Jeffree, and now we're starting to get into the drama. So I'm interested to see where this is going to go. And I don't know, what do you guys think? What were your big shocker moments of this? I do want to say too, I did see that Jeffree Star's dog, Daddy, had passed away this morning. And, fur babies are part of your family, and he's had those dogs forever, and this is the second one he's lost this year. So I really feel bad for him, and I'm sending him lots of love and prayers and thoughts and all that good stuff. And I hate for anybody to go through anything like that. So I know he's in a lot of pain, him and Nathan both. So if for some weird chance that he sees this, I think the whole community knows what he's going through, and we're sending him lots of light his way. But that's all I have really for this video. What do you guys think of the series so far? Are you watching it? Are you loving it? Do you have opinions about Jeffree, the Nikkie Two-Faced situation? Let me know down below. Subscribe to all my channels, Orbiting Live on Twitter. Follow me on Twitter, Instagram. I'm also here on YouTube. Subscribe to my channel. Give this video a thumbs up if you like videos like this. I'd be interested to know what you guys think. Also, what else was I going to say? Subscribe to my channel. Give me a like. Turn the bell notification on. I try to do a video a week. Hopefully you guys are having a great day, evening, night, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.